guys, and thank y'all for tuning in to the Journey Podcast, where I am your host, Kiera. It's Thursday, guys, and today is week one of our new segment, Talk About It Thursdays. I'm so happy to be spending more time with y'all. This means so much to me, so I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you guys for tuning in. Talk About It Thursdays airs at 6 a.m. on Thursday morning. So, those that are going into work or getting off of work, good morning to you, or good night, whichever one you would prefer to say. Those that are catching this episode at a later time, hello to you as well. Um, Quick announcements: the Journey podcast airs at 6 p.m. on Sundays, every Sunday. So if this is your first time here, your first time tuning in, we look forward to engaging with you on Sunday for a more in depth topic. So other than that, oh, yes, one more thing. So if there's a topic that you would like to talk about on a Thursday, feel free to reach out via the hotline at 770-802-1200. Just let me know what you want to talk about, or you can DM me on Instagram. If you go on the website, you'll see a link to my Instagram. The website is thejourneypodcast.life. My Instagram is linked at the very bottom. Just go ahead, click the link. It's the Instagram logo. Click the logo, and yeah, just get up with me on there. And so that's just for the quickest responses. And the email option is also available at Be a Guest. And like I said, if we talk about it Thursdays, we won't really have guests on Thursdays, but just let me know what y'all want to talk about midweek. When we link up with each other, because I miss you guys. So let's go ahead and get into this week's episode. What we talking about? We're talking about today. Well, today we're talking about um accountability, guys. What is accountability? So accountability, when I googled it, um accountability is the quality or state of being accountable, an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. So in my own words, accountability is just taking responsibility for your part in whatever it is that was done. And so I get along with just about anybody, but it's so hard for me to get along with two types of people. Like, these are like the top types of people that I have. Like I'm just like, yeah, I don't even want to be around you. Um, People that can't take accountability for their actions, um, and people that take accountability but try to justify their actions. Like they don't feel bad for their part in what would happen. So for example, somebody that's like, oh well, yeah, I know I hurt you, but that's just how I am. Like, what? Or somebody that's like, oh, I know that I was wrong, but I'm just living in my truth. Like, it's the but for me. Like, what? No, that's not okay. So you're trying to justify, yeah, you're trying to justify being a terrible person. And it's just like, what? And so just people like that, it's just hard for me to even want to be in their presence, because it's like, why you want to be like that? Like, as an adult, as a person, like, why do you want to justify um poor actions, or why can't you see your part in whatever it is that happened? And so I used to be one of those people that would justify my actions. So I would say, oh, well, you knew I was like that. Like, girl, what? Just please, just go somewhere. And so and so, or just find an excuse, try to manipulate, try to make it be like, oh, well, I know I did something that was terrible, but I only did that because no, you should have never did that. And so it's just like, come on now. And so I'm not like that anymore. And like I said, I don't really care to be in the presence of people that are like that because it's just like, why are you like that? You know? So taking accountability, for me, what that looks like, if I have like an issue with someone or, a misunderstanding of any sort, I always try to take a step back and look at um what could I have done differently to change the outcome of this situation, or what did I do to contribute to a negative outcome? And so I've learned to apologize when I'm wrong and just say, hey, you know what, I was wrong. I do apologize. I misunderstood, or whatever the case may be. And so taking accountability is definitely an opportunity to grow because it's like, okay, I could have, when you're wrong, you know when you're doing something that you probably shouldn't have done. You feel it you feel it inside, like, you know what, I shouldn't be doing this. And at the end of the day, we all know right from wrong. And sometimes it's just out of a habit, and sometimes it's just out of like, okay, maybe somebody triggered me, but that leaves the opportunity there for you to apologize, take accountability, and apologize. Hey, you know what? I know you did what you did, but at the end of the day, I'm responsible for me, my actions, and my words. So I'm responsible for what I did, and so I can apologize for that. Regardless of whether the other party apologizes or not, that doesn't have anything to do with you. And so here you are, you mind your business. Your business is you. And so just because you apologize does not mean that somebody else is um mature enough to make that same move. But sometimes it does influence people, like, you know what, that person apologized, they looked at what they did that was wrong, and they're holding themselves accountable. Let me take this moment to hold myself accountable, and let me take this moment to reciprocate. And so when you see yourself apologizing to people that act like you owe them you owe them an apology, and they did no wrong, and they did nothing to trigger your response, if that's the case, then that's when you just, like I said, I don't care to be in the presence of someone like that, because um here I am taking this moment um um in humility, and you're like, yeah, you owe me that, you loser. And so it's not cool. You don't want to be around people that trigger you like that, and then they can't take accountability. So it's like you're always apologizing to them, because here they are, they're doing what they're doing, and that's just who they are, that's how they operate. And here you are, taking over, and you know what, hey, you did trigger me, and I responded like XYZ, but then you're going to keep doing that if I keep allowing you to. So at the end of the day, we're in control of who we allow around us. We don't have to be around, certain people. It doesn't matter who it is. As an adult, you're entitled to say, hey, you know what, I don't care to be around you, and so forth and so on. And so instead of avoiding instead of like avoiding like opportunities to hold yourself accountable, take those opportunities. Sometimes you are going to have to apologize. Sometimes you're going to have to take a step outside of the situation, and and say, hey, you know what, I wouldn't have liked it if somebody did that to me, so let me apologize. So taking accountability definitely is a step in apologizing, where um you can hold yourself accountable, but if there's no change behavior, then it's just kind of pointless. So it's like, okay, um if I were to hit somebody and then say, you know what, I was wrong, I shouldn't have hit you, But I continued later on to hit them again. It's like, okay, did you really apologize for what? What did you apologize for? Something that you're gonna do again? And so, also don't give people the opportunity to keep doing the same thing, keep apologizing for the same things. Like if I tell you, hey, you know what? I don't like that. You see that it triggers me. You see, you're holding yourself, you're taking accountability for it just because it sounds good. Because some people do that. They're like, oh, you know what? I was wrong. I shouldn't have did that. And so here you are acknowledging you were wrong. You shouldn't have done that. And, so forth and so on. But then you do it again. It's just like, okay, yeah, get from around me. So it's just like, yeah, taking accountability is so, it's definitely, you have to have grown into doing that because I can honestly say that I was not big on apologizing when I was wrong or taking accountability. So at one point I just would be like, I would know that I was dead wrong and just be like, shoot, and we can just smooth it over then and nobody we just act like that didn't happen, then cool. Like, and for instance, I just want to give an example because I like to give an example just to put things into perspective. Say, we got into an argument or whatever and we go without talking. So here I was, I started the argument or I did whatever, I initiated this argument, um or whatever the case may be. And instead of apologizing, I just go back to, yeah, so how was your day? Are we gonna just act like you didn't just cause a tornado in my day? Like, how was the rest of your day outside of what happened? Like, what? No, we're not going to just move on like nothing happened and just, and just like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to address the situation. I like to address things. I don't like to just pick up where we left off when we left off on the wrong foot because I just feel like, okay, that leaves room for us to pick back up on the wrong foot, you know? Excuse me. And so I like to nip things in the bud, like Sunday's episode. I like to, come to a conclusion about what the issue was. Like, hey, um, I apologize, and it definitely starts with an apology. It definitely starts with taking accountability because at the end of the day, here we are. We can move forward, but that issue is still there. It's still open. It's still in the atmosphere of our relationship, and so just to get an understanding and say, hey, you know what? Let's talk about this so that we don't have to deal with this again. We don't have to revisit this again. And if you find yourself revisiting the same situations over and over again that are traumatic in any way, yeah, no. Got to go. Like, you have to value your peace enough to just be like, you know what? You can't take accountability for your actions, and so yeah, you can do that with someone else that's going to accept it. So it's definitely creating a boundary and just telling people like, hey, I'm not willing to just accept anything. Like, here you this is what I expect from you as whatever your role is in my life. Um, I don't expect you to do things like that to me or for you to trigger me. So that is where you valuing yourself and your mental health and your peace comes in for sure. So I just I like to have moments with people where we can reciprocate that energy. And so, like I said, when I notice that it's just me always apologizing, always, and it's like, okay, you don't think you did you don't think you do anything wrong? Like, you don't think that, and when you see no wrong in anything that you do, by all means, if that's if that's how you operate, fine. We have no control over what someone else does, but we have all of the control over what we do, and how we react, and how we respond, and how we just move forward with people. And so at the end of the day, we're responsible for our own happiness. And so, um, people that can take accountability for their actions, and make the changes that are necessary to continue a healthy relationship with you, with whatever that role is. And I don't care if it's your parents, your siblings, your partner, as far as like a spouse or something like that, boyfriend, girlfriend, um, friends, just anybody. In any relationship that you maintain, you want to be able to, you want it to, one, be healthy, and then you also like for it to be reciprocation, where not just one person is doing everything, because at that point, that one person that's doing everything, like apologizing all the time, they're going to get tired of apologizing. You know what? Why do I keep having to apologize to you? What's going on? Like, now I'm taking a step outside of this relationship that we're maintaining. So just instead of just taking a step out of myself and seeing what my part is, now I'm looking at what you doing, because there's no way. I know that I'm better than this. I'm not just the type of person to just, you know, continuously do, display poor behavior. So it's like, okay, what are you doing that's triggering this for me? So I know what I'm doing wrong. What are you doing that's causing me to feel like it's necessary for me to respond or react like that? And so, um, when you look at it, you look at how some people just find it really hard to say I'm sorry. It's almost like they choke on the two words, or I apologize. I remember being little, y'all, and my dad used to say, um, don't say I'm sorry. Don't say I'm sorry. You ain't sorry. You ain't no sorry. I ain't raised no sorry. So it was like we had to say, I apologize. So whatever you say, whatever your preference is, so be it. But at the end of the day, taking accountability is so important. It's so necessary. It's how you maintain a healthy relationship. It's how you show people that you value them and you care about them and their feelings. And so, when you take accountability, it definitely, for me, I can say I appreciate people that can hold themselves accountable, because I know how to. And so, because I know how to, and that's why I like to be around people that know how to as well. That way, my energy is reciprocated, and I'm not feeling like I'm in a one-sided relationship, with someone that lacks the ability to hold themselves accountable. And so, yeah, accountability, it's just been a big thing this week. I've just been encountering, and I found myself just kind of like rolling my eyes, like, God, you would think that adults are capable of doing that. And so, I've encountered some people that were capable of doing that, and then some people that were just not. And so, instead of just trying to push the issue and make them see where they were wrong, or see where they were, if they were at a point where they were trying to justify my response. And so, after I apologized, so here I was apologizing for what I felt like I did that was, that I could have done differently. I said, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I could have asked you differently, or I could have done this differently. And they were like, no, no, you're good. No, I'm not good. I'm terrible. I shouldn't have done that, because that triggered you. And so, when someone is taking accountability for their actions, let them. I sound like my therapist, y'all. I love her so much. She definitely like influences me just to be me, just and I sound like her telling somebody something, let them. And so, it's just good. It's just healthy to be able to do. Like, you got to learn how to apologize when you're wrong. You know? Excuse me. Don't go around doing people wrong and thinking that it's okay because that's just how you are, or because they did XYZ. At the end of the day, Nobody can make you do anything that you don't want to do. And if you find yourself doing something that, maybe you didn't want to do it because you lost control. Say you lose self-control. It happens. It happens. When you can take a step back and you can look at how you contributed negatively to a situation, you can apologize. You can say, hey, you know what? I was wrong. I apologize. Those words are so hard for some people to say, and it used to be really hard for me to say. Like saying I was wrong, I was like, I'm wrong, you wrong. I I just, like, okay. And so people that can't take accountability is like they look to blame everybody for their actions. I didn't make you do that. Like, I have no control over your mouth, no control over your limbs, no control over your eyes. Like, I have no control over you. And then you're saying, "Oh, you made me do this." Do you give people that much control over you for them to be able to make you do something that you don't want to do? Like, do you release that control to someone else, enough control to someone else for them to be able to make you, react the way you reacted or say whatever you said? Like, are you weak? Are we weak here? I used to be weak. I used to be weak. I can say that. I can own that. I used to be very weak. I would give people the power to make me curse them out like a sailor. It didn't matter what age they were. Um, I mean, when I say I gave people power over me, and so here I am. I'm taking accountability. I'm saying, hey, you know what? It wasn't right. It wasn't right. And that's what made me want to change, knowing that I was giving other people enough power over me to make me do things um that I have to apologize for. One, I don't mind apologizing, but I don't like to have to apologize. So I try to move um in a manner where I'm just like I'm careful with people. And so I try to make it where you don't really have to like repeat yourself as far as, hey, I don't like that. If you don't like that and I value the relationship that I have with you, hey, I apologize. You know what? You told me you didn't like that. You don't gotta worry about me doing that again. That's it. And it's so simple. It has become so simple. It used to be so hard. It used to be like, oh God, I gotta apologize. I gotta change how I am. I gotta do too much. And so, another thing, one of the major things that I couldn't take accountability for, I used to let my childhood be the reason why I was a terrible adult. And so um I feel like our childhoods mold us into the adults that we are. However, we have control over ourselves. And so we have um multiple resources as adults to heal from our childhood, such as therapy, and doing therapeutic things, and just that desire to want that change has to be there, of course. And so I had this when I was in when I was um when I was doing Uber. This was a while ago. This was maybe like 4 years ago. I had this guy get into my car, and he was drunk. And so he was just talking, and I was just like, mm-hmm. He was in the like late night. If you've been in Atlanta, the party don't never stop. So he was in like the late night, early morning crowd, and I picked him up. I was taking him home. And so I saw that he lived far. He lived like 30 minutes away. And so he just started talking, talking, talking. We were talking about all kind of stuff. And he was an older guy. I want to say that maybe he was like he looked young, but he looked older. So I don't want to put an age on him. But he looked like an older guy. And he said, you know what? This was so random because we didn't we were talking about I had a smell in my car. He said, "Man, this smell reminds me of when I was little. My grandma used to make these cookies. It was like a coffee kind of smell." And he was like, "My grandma used to make these cookies and they used to smell just like this." And so I was like, "Oh, really?" He was like, "Yeah, man." He said, "Man, this is really taking me back." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well," he was like, "I love the smell." And so I had an extra spray, so I gave him the spray. And he was like, "Thank you." He said, "I'm going to use this in my house." And so we got to his house, huge, beautiful house. And so he was like, he said, I wanted to leave you with something." And I was like, "What?" And so he was like, when I was little, my life was so hard, and I had every reason to suck at life. Y'all, I wanted to cry when he was telling me this. He said, I had every reason to just be miserable and be bitter and be just a terrible man. And here I am today, a multimillionaire. I'm happy. I have a beautiful family. I have a beautiful wife, beautiful children. And they live the exact opposite life from the life that I lived as a child. And so instead of letting my childhood um, take me down, I allowed it to catapult me in a direction where where I was better. And so, he was like, it's all about just, wanting that. And so in that, I had to take accountability. I couldn't say that my parents separating was the reason why I'm a depressed adult. My parents separating at 7 years old is why I'm a depressed adult. I'm so angry. I'm an angry adult, or I'm a just an angry person. And so I had to take accountability because I was 7. And so here I am, an adult. I have access to resources to be better, to want better. As a mom, I had to, I had to, mm, I had to want that so that my kids didn't experience experience the things that I experienced, and it just be a cycle that they were in. And so, um, another thing, um, having my oldest daughter at 16 years old, I could have, all my friends were having fun. They were all living their lives. They were all like, being teenagers. But here I was about to turn 17, and I was a mom. So I was 17 with a 4-month old, and I had to take accountability for my actions. I chose that for me. I had a choice to not have my daughter, but I chose that for me. So I had to take accountability. And in that, my biggest thing was wanting to show her how important it is to take accountability for your actions. You know what? I did what I did. These are the consequences. I have to own that. That's for me. And so but I had to allow that to be a lesson for me to make better decisions. Yes, I did have more kids. I did have more kids, but I wanted more kids. And so, um, not that everybody was planned, but I knew what I was doing at that point. And it's like, okay, I'm taking accountability for my actions. And today, I think that it is safe to say that I'm an amazing mom, because I took accountability for my actions. I could have easily just said, you know what, um, my grandma helped raise me. Y'all grandma can help raise y'all. And so instead of that, I took accountability. I made the decisions that I made to in efforts to be the best mom, to nurture my children, for them to grow into the beautiful children that they are today. Um And so, yeah, it's just, a matter of taking that accountability. We are going to make mistakes. We're going to make bad decisions. It's going to happen. We're human. But being able to take accountability and own what you did, and just look at it as an opportunity to grow. Whatever lesson you get from it, take that lesson and apply it to, future happenings. That's not the word that I wanted to use, but I'm gonna use it. and so, and so, yeah. Accountability, guys. Um, y'all know I love to give a little homework. Um, but let me say one more thing. As adults, everybody here, more than likely, you're an adult if you're listening to this. If you've gotten this far, um, sometimes the way that where we are in life, is our own fault, you know, and we have to take accountability for that. When you take accountability for that, like myself, I like to say, hey, what could I have done differently to prevent this from happening, or to prevent me from being where I am in this moment? And so, sometimes oftentimes we're responsible for where we are in life. And as easy as it would be to, and whether it's because we accepted the things we accepted, um, or we just made bad decisions. I mean, altogether, it was a bad decision made. So whether it was that you accepted whatever you accepted or whatever, you make the decisions for your life. And so, take accountability, take a step outside of yourself, outside of the situation, and look at, and ask yourself, what could I have done differently um to prevent this space that I'm in, or whatever the case may be. What can I do to to better myself, to seek help, or to get to a place where I'm not, where I'm not in this space. I'm not depressed. I'm not broke. I'm not um angry all the time. I'm not always fussing. I'm not, look at options. There are so many resources out here. Like I was saying in a previous episode, look at the benefits that you have with your job, or maybe it's something that you can do. I like to go to the beach. Maybe it's something that you can do, like a self care kind of thing, or just spending time with yourself to look at the opportunity to hold yourself accountable, and to also make those changes that are necessary. So, back to the homework, guys. When was there a time where you found yourself having to apologize and having to hold yourself accountable? Um, in that moment, did you actually apologize, or was it hard to apologize? Are you one of those people that say, you know what, I know I was wrong, but I'm not going to say nothing if they don't say anything? Or are you one of those people that can own what you did and say, hey, you know what, I apologize? Is that something that we're working on? Like I said, it's still a work in progress for me. But for the most part, I can I'm capable of apologizing. I'm capable of taking that constructive feedback where someone can say, "Hey, you know what?" Even if I don't notice, because sometimes like we don't know that we're so used to doing whatever it is that we're doing, we don't even know that it offends somebody. So, when someone brings it to your attention, hey, I didn't like that that you did X, Y, Z. What's your response? Are you responding, hey, you know what? I apologize. Um, like maybe your friends feel like you're not making enough time for them, and they say, hey, I don't like that you've been busy. Are you, or that you just haven't had time for me, or whatever the case may be? Are you apologizing to them for making them feel like you're unavailable, or what are we doing? So just let me know a time where you felt like you may have had to hold yourself accountable, and you've had to apologize to someone, or one or the other. You don't have to do both, whichever you're comfortable with. But guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in to Talk About It Thursday. I'm so grateful that we've had this opportunity to hang out more. I look forward to next week. I look forward to Sunday. Again, if you are new here, Sunday at 6 p.m., we are back on with another topic. We have our first guest this Sunday, so I'm excited about that. And other than that, that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. This episode was a little bit longer, than others, but give me feedback. Just let me know what you guys think. Was this episode of Talk About It Thursday a good one? Was this a good topic? Let's talk. Let's talk about it. And so yeah, y'all have a good day. Have a good shift if you're at work. Um, if you're in the car, drive safe. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Amazon Music, and YouTube, of course. So just let me know what you're tuning in on. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you have the best day. See you Sunday. Bye.